This is Omar Woodburn for New Street Culture, and today I've got in Sammy. Sammy is an old school friend of mine. If you can remember that you posted a post about being Indian and being proud. As soon as you posted that, like alarm bells went off in my head, and I thought to myself, I don't know what that experience feels like. And because I don't know, I know that there's other people out there that also don't know. As you know, like the purpose of the platform is to share people's experiences and bridge gaps between people's experiences and help people to understand like other people's realities. Yeah, that's what we're gonna get into today. So I want to start off at the beginning. I want to understand what it means to you to be brown and gay.
What it means?
Yeah.
Well, let's start from the beginning. It was a struggle coming out.
Yeah.
Only because of my own insecurities being Indian.
Yeah.
I felt like a failure just because when you're born straight into a already figured out future. You have to be a doctor, you have to be a lawyer, you have to do this.
Yeah.
And obviously me being into the arts and then having to be gay at the same time. Like if at that time, like growing up, if I could, I would have probably taken it away.
Serious?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Because I felt as if I didn't belong in the Asian community.
Yeah.
And being brown as well, I didn't belong in the gay community.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
So was that like a fight, like a battle?
100%.
Yeah.
But I'm very privileged to have parents who supported the fact that I was, carried me when I was struggling, kind of thing.
So how did you fight the insecurity? Like, what was it that like made you feel like? How did you decide to come out?
I actually didn't come out to my parents.
Nah.
No. I was I think I was 16.
Yeah.
Like I've known since very, very young, maybe 5, 6.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I think that's the only reason why I struggled a lot growing up.
Okay.
Just because, just knowing very early on.
Yeah.
In growing up and going to school and trying to figure out myself as well as figuring out my culture, figuring out being gay, you know, like it was just a bit too much. So my mum knew I was slightly depressed, I guess.
Okay.
I was very quiet.
Is this at 16 or younger? Or?
Maybe 14, between 14 and 16.
Okay.
I think actually coming out 16, but 14 is when my mum realised that there was something bigger than what was actually happening. So, we had the conversation because she actually went through my diaries.
Okay.
Yeah. My mum was naughty and she went through my diaries. So my mum went through my diaries and she brought it up.
Yeah.
And she actually said to me that everyone goes through this phase. Every woman goes through this phase of liking other women growing up.
Yeah.
It will pass. So I'm thinking, it's all bliss, it's fine, carry on, go to school, do this.
It's gonna go away.
Yeah, I was hoping it went away just because being Indian, you have this kind of mentality of being something great, of being like a doctor, a lawyer, again, whatever. You're kind of what's the word? You can't disrespect the name, your second surname, which is kind of like it's not just your mom, dad, siblings. It's the bigger picture. Like Lagar will be classed as like a whole tribe, let's say. So in India, if we were in Punjab, everyone would know me just because of my surname. Yeah.
So you represent some like a whole like a body of people, kind of, essentially.
Yeah. So that's kind of why I suppress my feelings towards the same sex, because I didn't want to bring disrespect or shame within.
In the Indian culture, is that like a pressure, like that's put on us? So that's what that's put on you,
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Because we
Well,
don't
it's
really
not
have
cool,
that. Well, it's not cool. I'm just getting the understanding. Like, I'm just getting the understanding.
Yeah, we have the pressure of being something to carry the name on.
Yeah.
You have to make money. You have to be in a very educational background.
Yeah.
So and so. So yeah.
Do you think sometimes those pressures are like good to try and get the best out of people?
To an extent.
Okay.
I think people can push, but
Yeah.
there's a time to step back.
I'm with you.
I think when I was going through my darker days of actually trying to suppress my feelings,
Yeah.
my mum was then pushing me more to try like get me into other things, take me to karate, take me to kickboxing, went to dance like classes just to keep motivated in another subject.
I suppose like the problem is with that is that you don't get the opportunity to really find yourself very early on.
Yeah. And having a younger brother as well,
Yeah.
which you met back in school.
Yeah.
We were at parents' evening. He's half my age. He's 15, so I had to kind of grow up quick because both parents were working.
Yeah.
I kind of put my feelings to the side.
For the sake of like the family, you're like taking on responsibility. It's honourable. It's a lot of pressure though for a child, really.
Yeah.
Essentially, that's what you are as a teenager, a child.
Yeah.
Alright, so what's the experience like for you now? Like, or once your mum read your diary. How did things progress at that point?
At that point, I hated her. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I was like, my journal was my like safe spot.
Yeah.
It was everything just going on in my head to actually process what I was actually going through internally. So once she had read it and confronted me about it and stuff, we kind of just acted as if it didn't happen. We pushed it aside, it's a phase, that's it. Long story short, carrying on, years, days, whatever.
Yeah.
Let's say, I think I was 20 when I brought back my first girlfriend.
Okay.
Yeah. So it wasn't a phase no more, and we didn't have that conversation.
Like the phase wasn't over.
Yeah. Mum, here's my girlfriend. Yeah. So the phase was just, okay, she's gay, it's alright.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did say the wider community around you receive it? Because like you were saying, you feel the pressures of like being illegal and like being an Indian. Like how was it received then at that point? Like.
So we didn't really tell the elder generation. Okay. Just because, again, shame. Like I told my parents not to tell them. Yeah. Because I didn't want them to actually suffer the consequences. Okay. They'll probably tell my parents, well, you didn't raise your child properly, or you didn't discipline them well enough to, you know. Yeah. So I told them not to tell them. But my grandma has now probably discovered because she's met my girlfriends before. Okay, cool. She's kind of like, well, if you're happy, you're happy. Yeah. There's no, I say a lot, don't I? There's no right or wrong at this point. It's just if you're happy, go with it. Yeah.
I think definitely when you look at older generations, it's not something that was like normal to you though.
You know what? You say that, but actually in India, there are loads of gay, lesbians, trans. Serious? Yeah, a lot. So if a trans person comes to your household in India, it's tradition, like it's a must that you give them money. Really? If your son is getting married. Okay. I know it's very random, but there's like people have this perspective of India being like throw rocks at gays and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's totally the opposite.
That's surprising, to be fair.
Yeah, so trans are very much, they're kind of untouchable. You can't discriminate against them.
But why is that though?
Because they're basically born like that.
Yeah.
So
And everyone just respects
it's
that.
God's gift.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. How has your experience been like being a female? Like how different do you think it would have been?
If I was a male,
Yeah.
I know for a fact it would have been bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not bad to the point of some people's experiences, but I know for a fact that I wouldn't probably have gotten away with a lot of what I've done being a rebel. I just know that for a fact, just because I remember my dad saying, because I wanted to name my little brother Sebastian when he was born, but we went with another name that I named him anyway. But
That's nice.
my dad said, "Oh, I don't want that name. Like he's gonna end up queer or gay." So I know for a fact my dad is like that.
Yeah.
We are like being a lesbian, being a female lesbian. You are hit by men's judgmental aspects just because you can sit there and say, yeah, lesbians, yeah, porn, great.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't be there like, oh yeah, men are men, would you?
I can be honest, like
You
there's
don't
definitely
watch
been well, I don't watch porn anymore, to be fair, but like I think that what you're saying like is the typical narrative like amongst a lot of men.
Yeah.
Like you will be a lot more accepting of lesbians than of men.
And especially people of colour.
Yeah.
Like what I've noticed with this, I don't want to really get onto this subject too much, but Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
You see a lot of people posting about heterosexuals getting shot in the streets and getting abused, but there are a lot of trans people that are literally getting demolished in the streets, but no one's speaking about that too much. It's more of the gay community that are touching upon that subject.
Like pushing it.
Yeah. So why can't anyone that's very heterosexual speak on their behalf? Is it not up to them as well?
It's up to everyone, really.
Exactly.
It's up to everyone. I think that like what I've found, so I was having a similar conversation with someone else the other day, is that I think that a lot of people only care about the things that affects them or that they like directly resonate with. And I don't think that's the way it should be. I think that naturally like you all have like an affinity to like an issue or a problem that affects you. But I think that also like when somebody raises awareness of something that doesn't like affect you close to home, you should care about it as well. If it's an injustice or if it's an oppression, or like even like say like Yemen at the moment, like no one really talks about it.
No.
Like the media doesn't cover it. People aren't out campaigning about it, protesting about it.
It's non-profitable.
That's unfortunately that's a sad fact.
Yeah.
That is a sad fact.
Harsh truth.
Yeah.
For sure.
Alright, so the other thing that I wanted to ask was like how much do you feel like your race and your sexuality identifies you as a person? Because I think a lot of the time when we get labelled things, like that becomes like our most dominant like characteristic or feature, or, do you know what I mean? Like me personally, like say like with all the Black Lives Matter, like I don't want to be seen as black before anything else. I want to be seen as me.
Yeah.
And then like black is just part of me, if that makes sense.
Do you think that's gonna change?
No.
Everyone's going to see you first as that black male that's just walked down the street.
Yeah. So how much do you feel like your sexuality and your race identifies you?
I definitely believe that being Indian comes first, then being gay, because I don't know why I still get more male attention than females.
Yeah?
Yeah. Which is gross, but deal with it.
Does it bother you?
You know, like when when males say, oh, you should be like thankful, you should be grateful that I'm giving you attention. Like, if I'm honest, I would prefer if you didn't give me any attention and I could take your sister instead or something, you know. It doesn't bother me, but it'll bother me up until the point where they're pushing their barriers, they're crossing the line.
Yeah, maybe.
I can have banter and I can have jokes, but...
Yeah. I think that, like obviously being heterosexual, I think that a lot of men are a bit uncomfortable. Well, I can only really speak for myself. Like, you're more uncomfortable if another male shows you attention, like in a sexual way or something. But
if you were approached by a male now, as we're in the gay scene, how would you?
How would I feel?
Yeah.
Awkward.
Really?
Yeah, I'll be feeling awkward.
Would you be like shy, awkward, or would you be like, nah, don't even talk to me, kind of thing?
Like right now, I'll probably be like,
don't talk to me.
I'll probably be smack bang in the middle, you know.
Yeah.
I'll probably be smack bang in the middle. Like in the past, like I'll probably definitely be more like, yo, that's not me, bro.
Yeah.
Whereas like now, I think that like
you have more of an understanding.
Yeah, I've got more of an understanding, and then like I think to myself, well, he finds me attractive. Do you know what I mean? Finds me attractive. But all right, let's move on. Do you think that your race and your sexuality, like, is it an advantage or a disadvantage to you?
I think back in the day, disadvantage.
Okay.
Going out clubbing, etc. You would definitely just pushed to the side. No one wanted to interact with you. It was very... I think I was the only Indian person out.
Okay.
In Nightingale.
Serious?
Yeah. When I first started going out, I was definitely the first Indian person.
Okay. So did you not then feel accepted by like the gay community at that point?
No, I still don't.
Serious?
Still don't.
Okay.
Unless I'm going to London.
Yeah.
Or somewhere which is a bit more mixed.
Yeah.
I think London's probably the best place that I've been, where it's definitely got more culture. You got different races.
It's more diverse. It's mad though, because I think that Birmingham, like my experience, I feel like that Birmingham is quite a diverse place.
I think it is now.
Yeah.
Back like 10 years ago, it wasn't.
Okay.
It wasn't.
And so you feel like you're not really as accepted by them, by like the gay community, purely because you're Indian?
Yeah.
Okay.
But more so back in the day.
Yeah.
Now, like, I don't even go out.
Okay. So you wouldn't notice it, or you wouldn't know? I'm with you. So what would you do? Like, how would you feel in those situations?
Oh, well, growing up in Handsworth, we were kind of surrounded by a lot of different cultures, right?
Yeah.
It was more like spot the white person, spot the black person or brown person. So we were very much so in our comfort zone. But when actually coming out gay and then coming to the scene, I don't know, you do feel out of place and you don't want to stay out too long. You kind of just smother yourself with alcohol and just kind of forget about it.
Just forget about it?
Yeah.
I'm with
just
it.
act like... I'm not going to lie, I did... You know, when you have a phone call, like a emergency phone call, you whiten yourself up.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, it's what I did.
That's what you did
then.
as well. To try and just like blend in, kind of.
Yeah.
I'm with that. Don't you think that's a shame?
Yes, it is.
Like,
There's no way I would do that now.
yeah. I think that like.
Every brown person.
A lot of people of colour have done that. Like I think, like you say, I think all of us have. And even if we don't do it now, there's been a point like where we've thought to ourselves like, hang on, I need to actually stop doing this.
Yeah.
Like, you're just diluting yourself, like to fit in, and then you'll never really fit in.
It's those phone calls. Hi dear, you okay? Darling. You know, there are those phone calls.
How important is it to you to fit in?
Oh, now?
Yeah.
No. Like if I don't fit in, see you later. I'll just leave the club.
But how did you get to that place?
Growing up, just kind of enjoying being brown. Actually, like I still go to the temple. I'm still very much religious. I'm Hindu.
Yeah.
So just being proud of who you are, not being ashamed anymore.
I like that. How much do you think that people should like bend? Because I think that like if you think about like say work, I think everyone like does bend to some degree, not just like people of colour, like to fit into different environments.
Yeah. So there was a club actually, Urban Stags, that used to be there.
Yeah.
So that was predominantly black females.
Okay.
You would see the odd white person, and of course they would also try to fit in.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess it is environmental kind of.
How much do you think people should try and bend, like to get on? Just in life, like say at work.
Like now, like our age as well. No, don't do it.
Don't bend.
Don't.
Do you feel? I feel like you lose a bit of your integrity. But I feel like you lose a lot of your integrity.
Yeah,
to be honest.
like you're not yourself. You're losing a bit of your just growing up, like who you are as a person. Don't think that should ever be taken away from you.
You see, like when you were growing up, I should ask you this question earlier. When you were growing up, like obviously you knew, like you said, you knew from an early age. You knew your sexuality. How difficult then was it, like having friends? Like, did you ever like?
No, I didn't tell anyone till I think I was about 14 when my mum found out. Yeah, I didn't tell anyone. So, especially school, I think school was quite hard on a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like fitting in there.
Yeah.
Even though we were very multicultural, there was still that. Here's the sporty lot. Here's the oddbods, the goths.
Yeah.
I think I was the emo at some point.
Yeah.
There is that dilemma as well.
School is like that.
Yeah.
School is definitely like that. It's difficult to navigate yourself through school. But how much harder is it when you can't express who you truly are?
I think that's just a part of growing up.
Yeah.
I think there does come a certain time period in your life, in your mid-20s. I think I'm finding myself out more now, being 30, than I have my whole 20s.
I think that's the same for me as well, you know. Yeah.
You experience a lot more. Your outlook on life is a lot different, I believe.
Yeah. The experiences like broadens your outlook. I think that like for me, I spent a lot more time looking inwards and outwards as well.
Yeah.
And finding yourself. And I also think that like when you go through negative experiences and then you come out on the other side, it helps you to really find who you are. That's what I found. That's my personal experience.
100%, I agree.
Alright. To close, I want to ask you, how, in your opinion, do we go about like bringing about a more open-minded and less judgmental society?
How do I go on about that?
How do we collectively? Because, like, for me, that's what I would like to use the platform for. And that's the message really that I would like to push more than anything, because I feel like, say like your sexuality, a lot of people will disagree and think, oh yeah, you shouldn't be gay, or a lot of people that haven't got experience with gay people or whatever, they might not even agree that you were born that way. Do you know what I mean?
No, 100%, yeah.
And like for me personally, I just feel like we should be moving to a place where even if you don't agree with something,
it should be a peaceful
like you shouldn't be
conversation.
necessarily, in my opinion, you just shouldn't necessarily be judgmental on it. It's not your place to be judgmental.
Yeah.
How do you get there?
I think it's going to be a long time till everyone's very accepting towards one another.
Yeah.
There's always going to be that divide,
Yeah.
I believe. Well, I think in our generation there's definitely going to be. Maybe in our children's lives, we might see more of a change. But I do think it's going to take a while.
For me, I feel like the more that we mix as people, like, the more that we spend time with people, different cultures, different races, different sexualities, because I personally feel like it's when we put like the barrier up and then we don't invite different types of people into our lives, you build up your own like preconceived notion of what somebody is like, or you listen to like a narrative. A lot of the time, a lot of people listen to like a narrative that's created by the media, and then that becomes what somebody, that's the story, that's what you think, like, oh, that person is like that because of something that you've seen on the news.
This is why I don't really watch the news.
Yeah.
I don't really intend on spending so much time on social media either, because it is self-destructive as well.
I agree.
It's better to actually have like what you're doing now, having the conversation, talking about different cultures, upbringings, so and so. So
That's cool.
yeah.
Thank you very much.
Oh, we done?
Yeah, I think so.